And welcome to the United Stand. I hope you're all doing very, very well this Saturday night, which means it's a Saturday night Q&A as well. But we have got some big things to talk about. The headline is that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has chopped more Deadwood from the Manchester United squad. And we're not talking about Fellaini. We're not talking about Rojo being injured. We're talking about Leicester. We're talking about the game tomorrow. And we're talking about significant changes yet again at Manchester United. So let's start off with that. Also, I just want to say as well, I think there's some massive concerns that I would express about Manchester United and some of the rumours that are sort of floating around there at the moment. And that is that, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, if he beats PSG, he'll get the job. If he doesn't, he won't. And also, yet again, I'm hearing Paul Ince saying things like anyone could do the job he's done. I mean, to be honest with you, I just want to say this at the moment, because I think Chris Sutton's the same, if you've seen him. It seems to me, well, I wouldn't, below good ex-footballers who basically are on the scrap heap and their career's not doing anything. I know I'm just going to wake up in the morning and I'm going to say the most ridiculous thing just to get a headline, just to try and get a career in punditry. And we seem to be getting more and more people like this. As fans, we will say things that we truly believe, but I think this is just nonsense. It's about getting yourself on the telly. It's about getting yourself on the back of the papers. I could have done the same job as Paul Ince. I mean, I definitely could do a better job than Paul Ince as a punditry. But Paul Ince thinking he could do the same job as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I mean, it's just laughable. It's really laughable. I mean, how did Blackburn and MK Dons go for you, Paul? I mean, you're a joke. You're an absolute joke. But the Deadwood that he's kicked out, let's start off with that. So, Manchester United squad for tomorrow. No messing around from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer from what we've seen of the squad. No Pereira, no McTominay, no Darmian, no Rojo, obviously, no Smalling, and no Valencia. Now, Smalling is probably a little bit to do with fitness levels because Eric Bailly's come back. I don't know why Smalling was on the bench on Tuesday against Burnley and Bailly wasn't involved. But Smalling's not involved for this one and Bailly is. And I tell you what, smash a like on the video if you want Bailly playing tomorrow because I desperately want us to do that. No McTominay, no Pereira. I think that shows a level of maturity from Ole again. It shows he's learning from his mistakes of what he did on Tuesday where he made too many changes. He's going with his experienced squad. He's going with his good squad and he's not carrying any sort of... I suppose he's not carrying any fat, is he? He's not carrying any waste. It's like, let's just go with this streamline against the good Leicester team and get some results. And more interestingly is the fact that he is out there to chop the Deadwood down, isn't he? We've seen Fellaini go, the king of the Deadwood, the tree, and now we're seeing Valencia and Darmian, who are both... all right, Darmian's not featured much over the last year or so, but Valencia certainly has. He had the captain's armband until recently. These are both players who are fit and raring to play for Manchester United, and neither is getting into matchday squads. And you may ask why that is, and I don't think the door's closed on them. I just think they're very, very long way down the list. And my suspicion is that these two players were told they could go in January, and both refused to go in January because maybe they want to wind their contracts down. I don't know. And Ollie's basically said, look, you could have gone in January. You haven't gone in January. There was rumours that Valencia turned a couple of moves down. There's rumours that Darmian and going to Italy, that was being stalled. And I think Ollie said, look, if I can give you a game at some point I will, but you're not in my plans. And this is it. He's no Mr. Nice Guy, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's no Mr. Nice Guy. He's here to do a job. And I think some of the things he's doing around that are absolutely brilliant. And again, Valencia's Deadwood. Fellaini is Deadwood. Darmian is Deadwood. That's 3 players from Deadwood FC that are basically out. Valencia and Darmian may get another appearance, but they're not part of the plans at the moment. Injury crisis, they might come in useful. But that's 3 gone, and he's not even been here 7-8 weeks yet. So it's absolutely fantastic. Lee Ballington says Paul Ince went from MK Dons to Blackburn and was way out of his depth. Oh, it's just big gob. He had a big gob on the football pitch as well. Read Sir Alex Ferguson's book, Self-Professed Governor. No one gave him that name other than himself. He's deluded and he's disrespectful and he's just doing it to try and get a career in punditry. Eric Bailly with Lindelof will do for me, says Aloya Wanara. Look, I think the most important thing I wanted to address tonight, and I really want to get it going because that's what Saturday night's all about, it's the Q&A. I want to talk about top 4. I want to talk about what your aspirations for top 4 are. Realistically, do you think we can do it? Chelsea, very, very good win today, 5-0. I mean, the Premier League's weird, isn't it? Burnley nearly lost today at home to Southampton. But their goalkeeper turns up like he's going to die if he doesn't keep if he loses the game against us on Tuesday. You've got Bournemouth being beaten by Cardiff despite beating Chelsea 4-0 a few days ago, and Chelsea obviously beating Huddersfield 5-0. I mean, to be honest with you, Huddersfield probably could come to Old Trafford, again, play like they're going to die if they don't get a result and get a draw out of us. But to be honest with you, Huddersfield playing Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal at their place, it's just a waste of time. It's how many you're going to score. It's that you start off with a default 4-0. But what I would say is that, and I did say this about Chelsea, Higuain, whether you think he's a fat Argentinian Morata or not, he's a very, very good goal scorer if you give him the chances. And I think it will free up Hazard. And Chelsea are going to become a threat now. They are going to become a threat. And I hate to say that, but they will do. And that race is certainly on. And Chelsea went and made a signing in January and we didn't. And that's what it could come down to. My concerns about top four for Manchester United, I know, having looked at the fixture list, it's going to be very, very close. Very, very close. And that's even if we win most of our games between now and May, and that means to do that you've got to avoid a lot of injuries. I'm going to be absolutely blunt and honest with you, because I always am. I don't think we're going to get top four. That is my mentality. I'm praying that we do. I'm hoping that we do. And if we do, it will be a lovely, excited surprise. But I don't think we're going to get it. I don't. And that's my stance. And that's not anti-United. It's not anti-Solskjaer. I just look at the fixtures and I see how close it's going to be, even if we do really well. And I worry. I worry about how can he keep playing his first team every game? He's going to have to rotate. And when he brings Mata in, or he brings Pereira in, or he brings Lukaku in, are they going to let us down like they did against Burnley? I mean, that was only Burnley at home. And I worry about injuries as well. I mean, if we get an injury to Pogba or Martial or Rashford or Herrera, I think we're in trouble. So I think we can get top four, and I'm very excited, and I hope we are going to get top four. But I am going to be honest, and I'm going to say, I'm concerned. I don't think we will. I don't think we will. But having said that, I think Liverpool are going to win the league. So maybe I'm playing some game subconsciously here, and it's called reverse psychology, because I think Liverpool will win the league, and obviously I don't want them to. I don't think we're going to get top four, and obviously I'm desperate for us to do it. So that's my thoughts on it. John Duffy says you're crazy. No, it's nothing to do with. Look, everyone can have an opinion. Everyone can have an opinion, and I have total confidence in Ollie, but I was talking about this today. My concern with Manchester United and why I don't think we're going to get top four is, I think that the two reasons really. I don't think the squad beyond the best 11 is reliable, and we should have done some business in January. And the second opinion is that I actually said this a lot. I think we took too long to get rid of Mourinho. I think if you'd given Ollie 3 or 4 more games, basically, if we'd got rid of Mourinho on the international break in November, Ollie would have come back with a home game against Palace, Southampton, and where else did we drop points? Arsenal at home. And we took 3 points from 9. I think even if we just took another 3 points from that, we'd be in a much stronger position. I think when Ollie came in, it was mission impossible. And I said that at the time. It's not mission impossible now. He's put a lot of work in to get us where we are. I just look at the amount of games we've got to play, and I don't trust our squad beyond the first 11. I don't. I like some of those players. I like Pereira, but do I trust him? No. Do I trust Mata anymore? Not really. Do I trust Lukaku? No. Do I trust Phil Jones? No. I don't trust the squad beyond the first 11, and we're going to have to use it. And I hope they're going to prove me wrong. And also, I don't think, this is the most important thing, there is no margin for error with Ollie. We've been saying this for weeks. There is no margin to lose a couple of Premier League games. We'll get left behind again. We've got our foot on the pedal. We're doing fantastically well, and we've got to keep that foot on the pedal all the way through till May. And it's going to be massively difficult. And maybe I'm just being a bit realistic, so that when we don't get it, I'm like, it was really hard. I think that's what I'm doing, really. I want to get it. I really want to get it. I'm so excited and hopeful that we're going to get it. But I'm sort of like not setting myself up for a fall, I suppose. It's unlike me, but I am sort of keeping my feet on the ground and saying it's a massive ask to do it. A massive ask to do it. And I don't know. I think it's going to be very difficult. But I hope to God that we do. Sebastian Anderson says, I have a weird feeling that we can be unbeaten for the rest of the season. Fear the top 4 spot will be decided on goal difference. It's going to be ridiculously close. I mean, Arsenal, they're playing Man City tomorrow, and we need Man City to win. Then Man City play Chelsea next week. We need Man City to win. I want Man City to win the league over Liverpool anyway, so it's not the end of the world. But our rivals are Arsenal and Chelsea at the moment. I mean, Spurs again. It's amazing the dynamic of football in the Premier League at the moment, because Spurs, I think their last 3 Premier League games, they've won it in the last 10 minutes of games by 1 goal. That's 9 points when they could have had like none or 3. And people are like, oh, Pochettino's a bottler. I mean, what he's doing at Spurs with an injury crisis, they're not dropping points. I like Spurs, I like Pochettino, but to be honest with you, I like Manchester United a lot more. And my hope was that we would, that Spurs would drop into the battle, because I'd be much more comfortable if it was 4 clubs going for 2 spots. It doesn't look like it, does it? Spurs, Man City and Liverpool are gone. It's looking like it's us, Chelsea and Arsenal for 1 spot, and that obviously makes it more tense, more exciting, I would say as well. Nicholas P. Jose should have gone after Newcastle. You said at the time it was now or never to save our season. Sadly, they acted too late. Ollie's performed miracles. You know what? I did say that, Nicholas P. And I also did say when he came in December, it was mission impossible to get top 4. And I think what all I'm doing, and I'm quite glad that I have a voice to do this and share it, is that if we get top 4, it will almost be a miracle from where he took over. We definitely can do it. I believe we can do it. I'm just still sceptical about how hard it's going to be, how lucky we need to be with injuries, and how the players who are backup players have really got to step up to the plate. And you need an element of luck as well. But it's going to be very, very exciting. And the longer we hang in there, the more the chance that we've got. But yeah, you're right, Nicholas. I think we stuck by Mourinho too long. And anybody who said get rid of him in the summer is right. And anybody who said get rid of him in the Newcastle game, which I did, was right. We had opportunities to get rid of him, and ultimately they did get rid of him. So they did it too late. They did do it too late. And any manager, whether it was Ollie or not, if he'd given him maybe 3, 4, 5 more Premier League games, I think we'd be comfortably in the top 4. But it's an ask, and a lot of people believe he can do it. I believe he can do it. I just don't think we're going to do it. And maybe, like I say, it's reverse psychology. But what I would just say is, I think it's disgusting, some of the things that have been going on over the weekend. I mean, I think it started in the Sun, so that's typical, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to beat PSG. If he beats PSG, he'll get the job. If he doesn't, he won't. I mean, what a load of nonsense. What relevance does beating PSG actually have on next season for us? We could beat PSG, finish 6th, and get knocked out in the quarterfinals by Real Madrid, and we're in the Emberdale Cup. We could get knocked out by PSG, win all our league games, and get 3rd or 4th. The PSG game is irrelevant. I mean, it's just a stupid story. And unfortunately, I've seen a lot of people talking about it in the United fan community. It's ridiculous. I don't want any pressure on United or Ollie for the PSG game because it's irrelevant. If we win it, it's a great achievement. But actually, I don't think we're going to win the Champions League, do you? I don't think we can win the Champions League. And to be honest with you, again, a good point. The Dillinger compound says we should have signed Koulibaly in January. I think we should have brought in some squad depth in January, that's for sure. Please do drop a like on the video. I want to get into these comments tonight. But that's a good point. Let me just say that. I want to read some of your... Get in your comments right now about what... You know, whether you want to mark it out of 10, whether you want to give a percentage, whether you want to write a sentence or 2. How confident are you about getting top 4 and why? Is it just because of the buzz that's around the club? Have you looked at the fixtures and you're like, ooh, that's going to be tough? Because another factor I would put in there is we don't have a great squad. We've got a big squad, but we don't have a great squad. If you lose Paul Pogba, who's playing in the attacking midfield position, I would probably go with Lingard over people like Pereira or McTominay or Fred at the moment. So we've got a big squad, but we've got a lot of inconsistent performers underneath the first 11. So we're still in the FA Cup. If we were to beat Chelsea, that only puts us into the quarterfinal. So you're still 3 more games away from the final. The Champions League, if we did beat PSG, that's another couple of games, quarterfinals. If you got through that, semi-finals, another couple of games. I wonder if anybody's actually thinking, you know what, being knocked out by PSG may not be a bad thing for our chances, because maybe we want to be just playing 1 game a week. Maybe we want to be, lessening the pressure on our squad. But I know what I'm like. I know what you're like. We're Manchester United fans. We're hungry for passion. We're greedy. I want to beat PSG. I want to beat Chelsea. I want to be in the FA Cup, the Champions League and the league. But what happens in March? Herrera does his calf. Pogba does his hamstring. Martial twists his knee. And that's because of the amount of games you've got. And, you do have to be realistic about that. Gameplay Xbox, I like what he's saying, 100% sure. Graham Allen is 60% sure. Immaculate Dirt says the team who gets top 4 out of Arsenal, Chelsea and us will be the team that capitulates the least. It's still on. Sarri's been having a breakdown recently and Arsenal is the epitome of capitulation. Look, I was having a bit of banter with Chelsea fans today. I do think Higuain is a good signing for them and I think he makes them a lot stronger than when they had Morata. But Van Gaal, I've given a hint there. Sarri is just an Italian Van Gaal in this Premier League. He's a manager who's come in with a system where everyone was gloating about Sarri ball, this, that and the other. Sarri ball is shit ball. Let's be honest with you. I've seen them play against the top 6 sides numerous times now, and the only team I think they had a really good game against was Man City at home. Us at home under Mourinho had no problems dealing with Sarri ball. Spurs at Wembley, no problems dealing with Sarri ball. Arsenal, no problems dealing with Sarri ball. To me, he's a good continental manager, but in the Premier League against the better sides, he gets found out. And I think the longer Sarri stays at Chelsea, the better. And he could be their main issue. Arsenal, of course, are jelly babies and always will be jelly babies, so they could capitulate. I think the good thing about Arsenal is, and Chelsea, they've both got easy wins in the Europa League. And they will be thinking in their minds, we've got a good chance. If you said to Sarri, do you want to go to the semi-finals of the Europa League and take your chance? Or do you want to get 4th place in the Champions League? They'll take 4th place. But the good thing is, they've both got winnable ties in the Europa League. So that's at least another 2 games for them. And then, if they get through that, they'll start to think maybe we could win this. And the Europa League is a rubbish league and a rubbish cup. We saw it. People pretend that you can win the Europa League and you can get top 4. You can do, but it's very, very difficult. And we know, we experienced it. We had to give up on the league. Remember under Mourinho, we had a little bit of a chance and he gave up. He started playing Twan Sebi and stuff like that. He had to focus on the Europa League because Thursday, Sunday is harder than the Champions League, because Champions League, yeah, you can play Wednesday, Saturday, but you can also play Tuesday, Sunday or Wednesday, Sunday, so you can get an extra day. The Champions League will grind you down. Arsenal haven't got the squad for it. Chelsea, they've got a better squad, but it's going to be difficult for them, and I think that is when you can start to get funny results. Like if Chelsea were playing Huddersfield at home in April and they just played in the Europa League on the Thursday night and then they're playing Huddersfield at home on the Sunday, I'd fancy Huddersfield to beat them because Chelsea would be tired and Huddersfield might be in that final 6 weeks where the teams in the bottom suddenly turn into prime Barcelona because they realise they're going to get a wage cut in the Championship. So you cannot predict the results. I tried to predict them yesterday and I had United a point ahead of Chelsea and Arsenal, but one loss and you're behind them. One dodgy win, one lucky win for them and they're above us. But you can't predict it anyway because there will be more Burnleys for us and there will definitely be more Bournemouths for Chelsea and there will definitely be more dodgy results for Arsenal because we're going to all be playing a lot of games. We just can't afford to lose a game or other teams will have to do us favour. Your thoughts, says Philip Burton would. I agree with that. And 80s Geek is right. Ollie can't rotate too much. He's got to try and do it one player here, one player there. I mean, to be honest with you, I would rather tomorrow, if he was looking... I mean, we don't need to do it tomorrow because we don't play again till Fulham. But if we had a midweek game on Wednesday and we're playing Leicester tomorrow, I would rather we just did one change tomorrow, maybe rest Rashford and play Lukaku. But it's when he does 2 or 3 or 4, that's when it becomes a different thing. Us getting top 4 could depend on how much Arsenal and Chelsea concentrate on the Europa. We got Champions League through the Europa. Maybe those two will go for that, Ryan Carroll. I think it's an interesting point, Ryan. I think it's a very good point because Arsenal and Chelsea, one of them is not going to get in the Champions League because for me, it's Spurs, Liverpool and City nailed on. So there's one spot. So take us out the equation. We're in the equation, of course, but even if you are Arsenal or Chelsea, neither of them can say, let's not bother with the Europa League, let's focus on the Champions League, because you've got a way in there that you can't really ignore, because what if you miss out on the top 4? For us, it's top 4 or nothing, because we ain't going to win the Champions League. We can't play about with Leicester tomorrow, Anthony Evelyn. Yeah, thank you for bringing that in. Does anyone, actually, I've only just said it, does anyone like my jumper? I've only got it today from the United... website. It's the Chinese New Year. I don't know whether you can see it on the back. There's like an emblem on the back. Chinese New Year thing that they've got going. But I just really liked the simplistic black with the 2 gold things. I really liked it, but I hadn't seen anybody saying whether they liked it or not. Neil Smith, Mark, fantastic show again. Keep up the good work, mate. Yeah, I think everyone's enjoying it, aren't they? Please do drop a like on the video. I like the Saturday night show because it's very, very fast. It's very fast, and we whiz through things. Great jumper, says George Carl. People do like it. I just hadn't spotted it. But yes, the game tomorrow, Leicester, very excited for it. If somebody wants to tell me what time kickoff is tomorrow, is it 2 o'clock? We'll be live an hour before with the team news. But I'm one of those fans, and I'm sure some of you are like it as well, and I'm sure some of you aren't. I'm one of those fans who relishes the big games, like Chelsea on a week on Monday night, is it? No, it's not. It's 2 weeks on Monday night in the FA Cup. I can't bloody wait. I'm so excited for it because it's a hard game. It's a bit like Arsenal in the Cup. I relish those games. Spurs at Wembley. I relish those games because I want my team to be tested in the most difficult circumstances. And of course, more importantly, I want Ollie to be tested in more difficult circumstances. So Leicester tomorrow, I'm really excited about it because we've got to win. The Burnley game, I think, was disappointing. But because of the good results we'd had before, you've sort of like got to go, well, it's one of those days, it happens. But with Leicester, we can't draw. We cannot draw tomorrow. It's 2:05 kickoff tomorrow. We can't draw against Leicester tomorrow. We've got to win. As we're talking about top 4, if we want top 4 and we draw with Leicester tomorrow, we're in a bit of trouble because Arsenal have got a few winnable games in the league after Man City tomorrow. And if we draw and Arsenal lose, they're still ahead of us. If we lose and they lose, they're still ahead of us. We've got to get ourselves above Arsenal tomorrow to psychologically put a bit of pressure on them. And it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be an easy game tomorrow. I think Leicester are very energetic. They're a good side and they've had some good results against us at their place before. So massively excited about it, but bring it on. Bring it on. And Chung Lee is right. Stop playing Phil Jones. He's full of mistakes and I feel he's the one man who will stop us getting top 4. He's full of mistakes and he's useless. I don't like saying those things, but I did say those things consistently about Fellaini, so I'm not about to start being different. And look, some people get very het up about this. Some people take it very personally, and maybe Phil Jones would take it personally, and maybe Manchester United Football Club would take it personally. But look, I've just bought one of your jumpers again. I'm forever buying your equipment because I love the club and I like the way you design your stuff. I'm a massive Manchester United fan, like many people, but like many people, I don't just sit that back and take it. If I see something that I think is stopping my club being successful, that's what fans moan about down the pub, on the bus, at school. So I look at Phil Jones, and he's been at the club for a long time, and we've had a lot of evidence about him. And I'm sorry, I don't think you're good enough to play for a top 12 side, let alone a top 4 side, and you do make mistakes. And what if tomorrow we're 1-0 up from a really good goal from Rashford and in the last 10 minutes he slips on his arse, Vardy runs through and it's 1-1. He's just cost us 3 points. And there's no excuse. That's the thing. There's no excuse. I wouldn't be saying in the match reaction tomorrow, oh well, Ollie, you're doing a great job. I wouldn't. I would be saying, I'm sorry, Ollie. As much as I want you to get the job, you've just probably knackered your job chances there by picking a player that you should realise isn't good enough. He's got to play Bailly and Lindelof tomorrow because Phil Jones at some point will cost us something big, like he cost us the FA Cup final last year, like he cost us about 10 points in the league last year. Do they do the track bottoms with the top, Philip Burton? Would they do? I nearly got the bottoms actually. I may well get them actually. Thoughts about Man City against Arsenal, said SB. It's interesting. I really wanted to do a watch along for Arsenal and Man City tomorrow, but because it's instantly after the United game and I'll have to do match reactions and fan cams, I don't think I'll be able to do it. But I really hope that Man City smash them, absolutely annihilate them. I'd love 4 or 5-0. I'd absolutely love it. But any win's good for us. City 4, Arsenal 0, says Simon Curtis. I would absolutely love that. I mean, I did write something down here that I'd forgotten to bring up as well, but I want to interact with the live comments. Please do drop a like and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're getting close to 365,500. Lots coming up as well on the United Stand, so if you are new to us, bottom right hand corner, subscribe. And remember, we're live every night at 8 o'clock. Saturday Night Live, 8. We've got match reactions, the watch along tomorrow, transfer shows, flex and rants, absolutely loads to get involved with. Ruben Neves, a lot of people have been talking about Ruben Neves of Wolves, scored again today, had a very, very good season for them. I'm quite surprised by Wolves. I wasn't surprised that they beat Everton today, but I did predict at the start of the season that Wolves would be pushing for 6th. they can still finish 7th, and that will be what I said would happen. I said that Wolves would definitely finish in the top 8, and I said that. I actually said it back in January when they were still in the Championship. They're a very good team with a very good manager and a very good way of playing, and I think they've just taken a little bit of time to adapt to this league. Ruben Neves to Manchester United. He's a good player. I'd like him at the club, but I would be absolutely stunned if we signed him for one reason. George Mendes is heavily involved with Wolves, and he doesn't give us the steam off his piss. And I don't know why that is. When we got Mourinho, who is Mendes' biggest client, I was like, oh my God, we might get Rodriguez because he's one of his clients, and you start listing off the players. Fabinho, one of his clients. We never got any. And I can't remember the last player we brought to Manchester United who was a George Mendes client. It may well be De Gea. But I don't think there's good relationships between Woodward and Mendes. I don't. And I know that sounds weird because we've got De Gea and we had Mourinho, but he's not delivered any players to us, and I don't know why that is. So I don't know why. I don't think Ruben Neves would be coming to Manchester United. Damien Hosty says he's not Manchester United class anyway. Well, he'd certainly be better than a Fred or a Pereira or a McTominay at the moment. I'll give him that, which would be an improvement. Chelsea play City next, Otto Fogg. Yeah, we need City to beat Arsenal and Chelsea, and they're at home for both games, so hopefully they will do. And then if we were to beat Leicester and Fulham, we would be in 4th. There is nothing could stop that. If Arsenal and Chelsea lose to City in the next 2 games, and we beat Leicester and Fulham, we will be 4th. Nothing can stop that. So that's the thing. Tomorrow's the one. I think we'll beat Fulham. I mean, anything can happen in the Premier League. We would never take Fulham for granted. Anything can happen. But I think if we win tomorrow, we're in a great chance. Don't do live calls tonight, Max. That's on a Monday night. Hassan says, anyone angry that no signings were made in January? I am angry. I'm frustrated. I don't think anybody's going to be angry until we don't get top 4. And that's a big if. But if we didn't get top 4, I think people would be angry. Muhammad Ali says, do you think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer watches the United stand? But a massive part of me says no, but you'd be amazed. You would be amazed. And somebody actually said to me the other day, everything Ollie's doing is like what we've been talking about on the United stand for a long time. He must watch the show. Well, maybe he does watch the show, but actually what I would say, I would be humble and say we've got the best Manchester United community out there over any forum, any other website, whatever. I think it's a great community we've got, and that's not about me. That's about the comments I read. That's about the fan cams. That's about the call-ins. You're all bloody passionate about this club and you get it. But I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could have had his head buried in the sand. He could never pick up a paper, listen to the radio, watch a YouTube channel. What he knows about Manchester United, he knows because he played at the club for a long time. And all he is doing is what we actually have in our head. We are disciples of Sir Alex Ferguson. My passionate opinions I have about Manchester United and how we should play and the way we should do it and the philosophy we should have and the sort of player that we should bring into the club and the never say die attitude and the aggression, these all come from Sir Alex Ferguson. I grew up with Sir Alex Ferguson managing my club, and everything I am, the petulance, the desire to win, the greed, comes from him. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you may think, God, he's doing exactly what we've been going on about on the United stand for a long time. But that's because he's the same as us. He has the same upbringing as us. He has the same understanding as us. So he's very similar to us in what he wants to do. Like, what did we all say? If I walked into Manchester United, let's pretend Mourinho's still manager and it's the start of December. If I walked into Manchester United tomorrow, Fellaini's gone, Lukaku and Sanchez are on the bench, Rashford, Martial, Lingard are my front 3, Herrera, Matic and Pogba are my midfield 3. I'm going to play Bailly and Lindelof. Okay, we're not doing that at the moment. I'm going to get rid of Valencia and Darmian. Well, all these things are happening. They're all happening because he's a United man through and through, and he knows what it's all about. And he's in sync with the fans. Simple as that. Sorry, I went. I can just see a few people are saying that they're having a problem with the stream. I'm going to wrap it up anyway now because I think we've had a problem with it. Let me just double check. Let me know in the live comments if you're having a problem or not. I know what it is. I put the computer on a wrong setting, which I'll sort out for tomorrow. I think it's all right. But yeah, I'm massively excited for the game tomorrow. Really, really can't wait for it. Yeah, it's playing up a little bit, isn't it? Mr. Super Chat. No, we're back. It's all been fine. I think for some people it's been a bit choppy, and I know why. I had the bit rate a bit too high on the stream today because I was playing Football Manager, so that's down to me. But yeah, look, the recap is that Solskjaer has not taken a fit Valencia and Darmian to Leicester. They're fit. They're not part of the squad, and I think that's because they chose not to leave in January, and I think he's like, well, you can stay, and I will use you if I need to, but you're not in my plans. He drives a hard bargain because he knows what's needed to be done at Manchester United. He's ruthless, and I think that was the most important thing. I think Nicolas Pepe for right wing is a good call. Jack Coleman, a very, very good call. A very, very good call indeed. Shaw is looking a bit thick around the thighs, says Sean. That's weightist. When will you go live tomorrow, says Sebastian Arnold. So we're kicking off at 2 o'clock tomorrow, so I'll be going live at 1 o'clock with the team news. Massively excited about it. Massive day. Massive day for Manchester United tomorrow. It's going to get said a lot over the next few weeks because your next game normally is your most important game. But I do think if we were to lose tomorrow, our chances of top four are going to be... They're not over because there's still so many games to go. But we probably would look back on it and go, was that when we lost it? We've got to win. Stop saying my club, says Hassan Taib. But it is my club. It's your club. If you support Manchester United, it's your club. I don't know whether you're being cretinous or what, but if you're actually being genuine, I won't stop saying it because it is my club. It's your club. It's our club. It's what we support. So there we go. I do like Nicolas Pepe, Jack Coleman. I do like him. There's a few good players out there. I like the look of that Bergwijn. I like Leon Bailey. There are a few right-sided... Lozano. There are a few out there. There is a few out there. Stephen Diak will sleep well tonight. There's nothing better than waking up on a Saturday or a Sunday morning knowing United are playing and knowing that it's a big game. This has got a lot riding on it. As I said, I think Leicester have got a very, very good first 11. Very strong in many areas. Their goalkeeper's good. Chilwell's very good. Maguire's good. Johnny Evans, as we know, he's a decent centre-back in the Premier League. Pereira's good. Mendy and Ndidi, very energetic CDM midfielders, box-to-box. They're good. Maddison's been a brilliant signing for them. Albrighton, steady. Damari Gray on his day, very good. Vardy, a threat. They've got a very good 1-11, and we're going to have to be... We're better than them, of course we are, but we've got to do better. We've got to do better than we did the other night. We really have. We have to play with a cup state of mind from now until the end of the season, says LOU Wanara, where you know you have to win. Exactly. Every game we've got to win now. And that does sound a bit odd to some people because, Manchester United should always approach every game like that. But no, we do need to approach it with that, definitely. A lot of love in the live comments. Thanks, everyone. I won't be dabbing. I dabbed the other day. I'm not doing it again. And what's your thoughts on Forest hiring O'Neill and Roy Keane? Well, look... what I would say about that is Paul Scholes, if he went to Oldham, I would keep my eye on Oldham results. So obviously I'm from Nottingham. Some of my family still do support Forest. Well, they always have done. I believe they lost. Well, they did lose today, and the reason I know that is because I was down the pub, and I do live in Birmingham, and Birmingham beat them 2-0. I don't really know enough about them to know how hard their task is going to be, but I do hope they do well because I like Roy Keane and I want him to do well. He's my favourite player of my lifetime at Manchester United is Roy Keane because he symbolises everything that's important. That never say die attitude, that leadership, that understanding of the United way, the philosophy. So I want him to do well. But there's no guarantee that he will. Stream's fine, says G-Tar Gaming. I don't know whether it is. We seem to be losing viewers, so I'm just going to wrap it up there for tonight. But massive day tomorrow for Manchester United. Please do smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. And join us tomorrow at 1 o'clock for the watch-along. Flex is going to be there doing the fan cams. It's a big day. I'm nervous because I think if we don't, we've got to take this opportunity. We've got to take this opportunity. Tomorrow night, when we're live, we've got to be saying we're above Arsenal and in a week's time we're going to be fourth. We've got to take this opportunity. It's going to be difficult, but as Ollie says, you want it to be difficult. You want a challenge at United, and we've got to grab it and go for it. Absolutely. Come on, let's do it. I'll see you all tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your evening and or day or whatever, wherever you are. Thanks everyone for tuning in. You're fantastic. I love the interactive shows, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.